Well, hello there. Chuck and Jiggy back again. Today, we are talking about The Devil's Nightmare.
Yeah, so we pretty much have a tour bus going through, I'm assuming it's Germany. They're not able to make it through, I think, some road closed down, and there's a ferry that they're not going to be able to make in time. So they circle back and they're able to stay overnight at this local castle. And unfortunately, I believe he's a Baron van Reinborg. Apparently his family has had a curse placed on him because centuries previous, his ancestor made a deal with Satan that I think the firstborn daughter will become a succubus. So the people who were hoping for a nice, gentle night in this castle have anything bad, as they are slowly taken down by their own sins. Hashtag Devil's Nightmare.
So, is this the first time you've seen this movie?
No, so I actually own this movie on one of those really cheap 50 horror movie packs. I think this one, not that anyone necessarily cares, but I think this was like the pure tear 50 movie pack. And I remember, to be fair, I haven't seen this in like 15 years, but I remember enjoying it enough. In fact, on IMDb, I see I have it rated an 8 out of 10, which might be a bit strong. But my point is that I remember enjoying it, and I was interested in seeing it again. Luckily, I watched it this time around on Tubi, and the print on Tubi looks exceptionally nice. Like, it's actually even in French with English subtitles, and anyone who knows me knows that if it's a foreign movie, I quite enjoy subtitles. So it was nice to see. It's a nice looking print. I'm assuming it's like a Blu-ray copy, but
Yeah, I'm going to assume it's exactly what's on the Blu-ray that I have here, because I believe on this copy it's got both the French version that you would have watched, and then it's also got an English dub version. And you know me, I prefer to not watch subtitles, so I'm fine with the dub version.
yeah, as long as it works, it works. So
Yeah. But yeah, it's even at the beginning they had like a little disclaimer on it saying, you know, some of the elements are bad and hopefully it doesn't ruin your viewing of the movie. I was watching, I was like, this looks really good. Like,
yeah, no, I think they did a fantastic job. No, it's possible. I would actually mind comparing the version I just watched with like the copy I have on DVD. I have to imagine my DVD copy is absolutely atrocious. So I actually might throw that in a bit later once I have time, because that'd be interesting to compare. But yeah, this print I watched for this movie, beautiful looking.
yeah. I originally bought this movie for my wife a couple of years ago because it seemed to be more her type of thing. I can't remember if I bought it for a birthday or Christmas or something like that. But I ended up watching it with her the first time I watched it, which, you know, was a couple of years ago. And I actually really enjoyed it, which is surprising because this is not the type of movie I would typically like. It's not typically my type of movie. But I enjoyed it that first time. The second time that I watched it just now, enjoyed it just as much. So it's verified that it is actually a pretty good movie, or at least an enjoyable movie as far as I'm concerned. And I think, well, look, for me, the main thing that kind of makes it great is Erika Blanc, who plays the succubus. She comes in about 30 minutes into the movie, and, you know, she's got this incredibly striking appearance. And and no doubt, you know, she's walking around in this sexy outfit and everything, and you know, she's the succubus in the movie, and let's just say I wouldn't mind if she sucked me until I bust.
I feel like that's a joke you made before, but I just can't place when that would have been. But I sort of knew where you were going. And
Yeah. But you know, even like later in the movie, she has really two appearances in the movie. She's got the really sexy appearance, and then she has this I don't want to say completely opposite, but it's kind of like this cold, ghoulish type look about her,
Yeah, it
which
sort of
really
looks.
works
It looks.
well.
It looks pretty corpsey.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, she was the main reason that I enjoyed the movie, though I do think everything else around it ties in pretty well. Like the whole group of characters that are in the movie, they all have, well, maybe not all of them, but a bunch of them have their own quirks or, whatever it is about them that kind of makes you, whether it's, the fat guy that just cannot stop eating. I don't know what his deal is. He eats while he drives. He even thinks about food even after he's eaten a huge meal. He he has a meal and then later on he goes down and has this massive banquet. I'm like, dude, you just fucking ate. Like this dude's eating like he's from Africa or something. Like, stop. And it's kind of ironic the way he dies, but and there's other people in the movie. You got this grumpy old man who just won't stop complaining. Hey, you got some lesbians, so that's always nice.
Well, I mean,
and it's a you're gonna say technically one of them's bi.
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. But
Yeah, but okay, fine, one of them's bi, but
I'm not entirely
there's still
sure.
lesbian activity in the movie. And it's hot lesbian activity, not like butch lesbian activity.
Yeah, I was going to say, what I found sort of amusing about that scene. So, who are those two actresses? I don't really think it matters. Their character names are Corinne and Regine, which I love how similar those names are. Took me a while to get them individualized in my mind. But the blonde-haired woman, I believe she was, Regine, she doesn't really do anything in this movie. Like, honestly, her character seems like she's torn out of her mind through most of it. And in fact, the actress may have been, who knows. I think at one point, she screams because blood's dripping on her arm, and then another point, she screams because a snake's attacking her. And that's, like, the gist of what she gets up to. So, and that's not her fault. But I guess my main point, I think some of the characters are pretty good, but some of them are sort of, I don't know, arguably one note. Like that guy you were talking about who eats a lot. That's pretty much all his character trait gave him, which it makes sense. This movie's not that long, and that whole idea, I guess we didn't mention this, but the whole idea is that these people are sort of being killed by the 7 deadly sins, and that guy represented gluttony. But, yeah, so I guess my thing is not all the characters had a whole lot going for them. I guess some of the main ones did. To be honest, I'm not a big, what's her name, Erika Blanc? I mean, I thought she was okay, but I was more of a Ivana Novak type of guy who apparently played Korean, so there you go.
Which one is that? The
She was a dog-haired woman.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she was good too. I'm more of her type than the blonde type. I don't know what that woman was, what her name was, but
I think it's Regine, but I don't think she mattered, to be honest.
Yeah, but yeah, that dude that couldn't stop eating, even at like the first time we see him, he's eating. It looks like chicken. He's eating that while he's driving this little bus thing. And then, even at the end of the movie, when they leave, he's once again eating chicken again. Like, where does he keep getting this food from?
Well, do you see him open his suitcase and he had like some bratwurst and stuff? Like, it food in his suitcase. Yeah. So, like, that guy, it's impressive. The funny thing is, no, I guess I'm not sure if you obviously like a particularly great image of him, but he didn't seem like he was even that overweight. Like, yeah, he might have been a bit chubby, but he mostly seemed fine. God, I wish I had that guy's metabolism, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is from the early 70s, and back then, 30-year-olds look like 50-year-olds. So
you're not wrong.
I don't know. Maybe this dude is like 20 years old in the movie, but he looks like he's 40, and that metabolism is going to go away in a few years. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I do want to mention one thing about that guy in particular. So, as Tracky said earlier, there's a scene in which, like probably an hour or two after dinner, he goes downstairs for more food, and he finds a nice little banquet laid out in front of him, with the Servais woman just standing and smiling. And they're not particularly talking. He's just like eating lobster and turkey and chicken. He's just eating and looking at the woman and not saying anything. It's like that whole sequence. I'm like, if I was that guy, well, first of all, I wouldn't be the fucking guy. But it just such a strange scene. It almost feels like a dream type thing, which I think is one of the stronger points of the movie. Occasionally, it does have a sort of dreamy atmosphere to it. So
yeah,
I mean, it fits.
Yeah, and there is another character in the movie who, on IMDb listed as Satan, played by this guy Daniel Emilfork, if I've pronounced that name correctly. And boy, I gotta tell you, as far as I can tell, this guy's French. And you know me and my stance on French people. They don't really look like real people. And this guy, oh boy, does not help the French get away from that take. So,
well, I was going to say, I imagine quite a few people in this movie are French. But yeah, that guy in particular, I think he's somewhat of a well-known figure. Certainly he has an interesting look to him. So,
well, I mean, it's an Italian-Belgian horror film. Are people from Belgium actually considered French?
Well, I consider them. God,
because I know they speak French, but does that make them French? Isn't Belgium in like Germany?
No, Belgium is a country that's it borders France and Luxembourg.
I thought it was near Germany.
Well, yeah, I think it's actually near Germany. I mean, a lot of Europe in that area is pretty tightly knit. I was sort of curious because I honestly don't know much about Belgium, but it's interesting. Apparently, how do I even read this map? Yeah, it looks like the country, half the country speaks Dutch, half the country speaks French, and like a fifth of the country speaks German. So it's great to see.
Yeah, it looks like Belgium is between France and Germany. Yeah.
And for anyone interested, this is this trailer in an American trying to understand European maps. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I do have German heritage, so I should know better about this shit. But
yeah, I took 4 years of German back in my high school days, and boy, did it help much. But
yeah. So one of the other characters I mentioned was this grumpy old dude, and I don't, even though this might be a little bit of a spoiler, it doesn't matter because later on in the movie things change. But the scene in which he has a death scene in the movie, which is hilarious, by the way. It just gets thrown out of out of the castle from a fairly great height, and he lands on these spikes, and my reaction, aside from laughing at the death, my reaction was, what the hell are these random spikes just doing there? What purpose do they serve? They just seem to be there for the purpose of killing him.
Yeah, I was going to make a reference to Freddy's dad, the Final Nightmare, but I'm not sure if you've seen the movie in recent times. But yeah, this is a scene early on. It's like that's when Freddy got really goofy. Well, he's been goofy since the fourth movie on.
Pretty much.
But it's a scene where he's
goofy.
pushing a bar of spikes around for a guy to land on, and I was just sort of reminded of that scene. Like, I don't know why the spikes are there, and it's just like someone just placed them there just because the guy was thrown out the window.
Yeah. And speaking of funny deaths in the movie, that bus explosion.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
See, so this is a nice thing. So, like I said, I've seen this movie before, but it's been a really long ass time. So I actually forgot what direction the ending was going in. I assumed they're going to go with a different ending, sort of what you might see like in a Tears of the Crypt type movie. But they went a different direction, and I actually quite enjoyed the finale here. It was sort of playful, and that scene with the boss was some quality stuff.
Yeah. He didn't really need to do that massive swerve. He didn't. It didn't look like he was going that fast. Could have just put on the brakes, but what an idiot for eating that chicken. Anywho, other things. I mean, the music in the movie. Well, you know, a lot of these Euro horror, older Euro horror type movies generally have. I don't know if you want to call them memorable, but they certainly have a certain style of music to them, and this one's no exception. You hear a lot of the same stuff being played over and over again, but it's I don't know. I mean, I like it. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of low key in a way, but for a movie like this, if you've seen a lot of European, like early 70s European horror movies, a lot of them have this sort of similar vibe to them. And it's sort of, in a way, sort of comforting, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't think I really got too much else about this movie. I mean, I was just mostly captivated by, you know, the lead lady and the lesbians. Oh, well, sorry, lesbian and bisexual woman. Hey, I'm a simple man and it doesn't take much to get me entertained, so.
Yeah, well, I think the one issue with this scene is I'm not sure how much that one woman was even into it, the blonde-haired woman. But like I said, she seemed like she was dragged throughout half the movie, so it's whatever. As far as I was concerned, it's still concerned enough.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had on the movie, so I don't know if you had other
Yeah, I was
points.
going to say it's pretty much the same thing. Like, I think no, it's possible that you may have enjoyed it more than I did. I think it's a pretty good movie. I think it's well filmed. It looks nice. I'm just not entirely sure how engaging I found some of it. It's just somewhat of a slow moving movie, and because of the whole succubus angle, like it's hard to say any of the death sequences are even that great. I mean, there's a handful that are okay, but it's like a woman who like drowns in gold dust as though it's quicksand, and there's just like that gluttony guy pretty much dies from drinking poisoned wine. It's just not that interesting, to be honest. But that
Yeah.
said, I do think it's a decent movie. You pretty much know what you're getting when you go into it too. It feels a lot like the European movies around the same time period. So yeah, honestly, I'm not sure if I consider anything necessarily special, but at the very least, I think it's well done and it's probably worth seeing at least once.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Devil's Nightmare, aka The Devil's Nightmare, aka Vampire Playgirls, aka Castle of Death, aka Nightmare of Terror, aka Succubus, aka The Devil Walks at Midnight, aka The Devil's Longest Night, aka every other
Yeah,
foreign title you
and
can
yeah, actually,
think
this
of.
is worth mentioning. So I don't usually talk about. Well, you can cut that second out. I don't usually mention the fact I do a horror movie review blog type thing, and when I'm doing a foreign movie, I always use the original foreign title, and this is exactly why. Because when the movie has like 8 alternative titles, I'm not going to pick the name that most people might know. I'm just going to go with the original title, and if people find it, people find it. Because when you have a movie like it has 6, 7 titles, the fuck are you doing, bro? That type of thing, honestly, just annoys me. So when people are like, "Oh, have you seen Sleeping Corpses Lie?" and someone's like, "Oh, have you seen Living Dead in Manchester Morgue?" I'm like, it just call it by its original foreign title. Saves our types of time. I think you could do learn French and Italian. It's just good times.
Well, I don't mind just going by whatever I think is the most popular English title. Usually you can tell by, like, you can tell which is the most popular title, I guess, by whatever they put on the Blu-ray release.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the best. It's possibly like the most coined Blu-rays. Probably what most people are going to know it by.
Yeah. And that's why I, at the beginning, called this The Devil's Nightmare instead of Devil's Nightmare, because that's what's on the
funny
Blu-ray.
thing is, I think my DVD copy, like I said, the cheap 50 movie set copy, I think that one's just listed as Devil's Nightmare without the, which I think is, so, because I've seen it under both titles most commonly, so.
Well, the title that comes up, the title that comes up when you watch a movie is just Devil's Nightmare.
Yeah, so it's always interesting. Like I said, you see it all the time with European movies from like 60s and 70s. So I'm not sure we've talked about a movie from this time period in a little bit. So sort of nice.
Yeah. Well, when I saw it on your list, I was like, yeah, I remember that woman in the movie. I was like, I wouldn't mind checking her out again. So. And that was pretty much my reasoning.
I was going to ask, actually, how did your wife like the movie?
Yeah, she likes it fine. I don't know if she likes it more or less than I do, but I think it's really enjoyable. Like, if I rated it, it would be somewhere between a 7 and an 8. I don't know. I haven't really thought too much about it, but yes, I think she's probably on the same type of rating for it.
No, that's nice. I just wonder if it's going to be one of those movies that you liked so much because of that one woman, and she's like, oh, she got jealous of you. It would have been amusing, but